What's going on, everybody? This is Warren,
And this is Jay.
and we the Eagles Collective. We got the 50-man roster now lined up. Let's talk about it. We got a lot to go over. All right, y'all. So yeah, like we were talking about, we got a 50-man roster. Just finally got it narrowed down to the right ones. But before we get into that, we're gonna talk about a little news right now. So the latest news that we have is we got a few individuals that's going to be going to the Hall of Fame. So with that being said, let's kind of talk about these players. I know one we all know, Nick Foles. Nick
There we
Foles
go.
going into the Philly Hall of Fame. Um, I think I remember back when Nick Foles had that streak of no interceptions, and everybody was talking about that back then.
Yeah, his
So
interception ratio was correct. I think that's 2013.
yeah, and that game, like it wasn't a perfect season, but it kind of let you know how special Nick Foles was, and let us all know we had somebody, a good quarterback at that moment. And then of course we all know him for the Super Bowl. Um, people still people still remember to this day bringing a backup in to win the Super Bowl. That's how we got our Super Bowl. And hey, we appreciate everything he's done. He's got a statue outside the stadium now. So, Jay, give me a little bit of your thoughts on it.
Yeah, of course. My thoughts on Nick Foles. I've always been a Nick Foles fan, even before the Super Bowl. Like I always liked his story. I just feel like he was made to play quarterback in Philadelphia. Like he's had no success anywhere else in the NFL. He's been three, four other teams. He's not played well. He got benched for Gardner Minshew. So it's like God made Nick Foles to give us a ring. So I'm always going to
Yeah.
be grateful for Nick Foles, and I have his book right up here somewhere. Is over there, yeah, right there, and it's autographed by Nick. I actually met Nick after the year after the Super Bowl 2018. I met him at a book signing.
Oh, nice, nice. I know. I know. Looking at what Richard said, I have Sean McCoy jersey, my favorite running back. Well, is he going to be your favorite running back after Saquon? That's going to be my question to you, Richard. Let us know.
Saquon got a lot to do to catch up to McCoy. McCoy is also my favorite Eagles running back of all time. Like he could have just done it all. And my thing with McCoy is how he always just ran with the ball. He had that swag when he ran with the ball, barely ever protected it. Is like in
Hmm.
my favorite game from him is obviously the Snow Bowl. Like he was just balling all over Detroit and he was having fun out there. And it was just the Sean McCoy is just amazing to see. And he's had a great post career too now. If he's on the show on Fox, FS1 and stuff, he's been doing good post career.
Yeah, that snow game. I think nobody's ever going to forget that snow game. I
Oh, it's the
think
best game.
I think Nick Foles was the quarterback for that snow game as well.
Yeah. He was. That was 2013 also. So that year was a special year also too for the Eagles. They had fun that year. They
It
just
it
ended up with
was
no success.
yeah, that was a fun year. I think back when we had Vic, McCoy, we had Djax, when we had
Yeah,
all them boys.
Macklin. Yeah, Selleck was there.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people. Young Zach Ertz was there. Very young Zach Ertz. I think Zach Ertz
That
was a
was,
rookie that season.
that was a fun year, bro. That was a real
Yeah,
fun
for
year.
sure.
Then we got LaShawn McCoy talking about LaShawn McCoy. He's going to be getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, the Eagles Hall of Fame. So I'm excited for that. I'm actually going to be at that game. So just
Nice, nice,
so I think it's the Kelly Green game as well. So it being a
nice.
Kelly Green game, a night game, and with LaShawn McCoy going to the Hall of Fame, I think that's going to be a real big game for us.
Oh,
So
that's
I
gonna be a
can
good look.
definitely see a W out of that. But yeah, but moving forward though, outside of that news, Dotson, Jay, give me
Happy.
your thoughts when you heard about this. When you heard about this
Um,
going down.
well, I mean, if you play anything, if you play fantasy football, if you're just a fan of the Eagles and you kept up with the Eagles, you've seen this guy make some plays against us, and he's made a couple plays on other teams too. I think he has a lot of upside. He's not the best blocker. I think he has a well-defined role as a wide receiver three in Philadelphia. I think he's going to learn from Devontae. I think he's going to learn from AJ. I think he's in a perfect position. If you watch his press conference, you can see his eyes glowing with the enthusiasm of being in the building with winners and proven people. I think being in Philadelphia is going to elevate his game even more. He's perfect for the Eagles right now, a wide receiver three. We're not asking him to be a wide receiver two, as Washington was asking him. We're asking less of you, but essentially Dotson would be the fourth pass catching option because Goddard is going to more than likely get more targets. So to go, AJ, Devontae, Goddard, and then Dotson, and so on and so forth. But I could see Dotson stepping in, playing that role that Quest tried to play. The role that Jalen Rager tried to play. Somebody else that can stretch the field that's not Devontae, and just we need another option in wide receiver for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Let's give a long time no see, Cash. How you
Hey,
been, bro?
yo, that's my brother right there. That's Kaz right there. Listen,
Yeah,
man, if it wasn't for Kaz, we wouldn't be here, man. We wouldn't be here. That's
yeah.
all I gotta say.
Hey, Cash, we need to talk.
We gotta
Get you
get
on the
you up
show
here.
for what we got
Yeah,
going on Thursday for
yeah. We
everybody.
trying to get you on. We trying to get you plugged in.
Yeah, he said this is the best Eagles podcast I ever watched. Yo, appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, brother.
And then we got Richard talking about Dots can be a three or a fourth option.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what he is on the Eagles. He's not gonna be, now injuries come in, things happen, people miss games, and we want him to be ready, but it's gonna take him some time. It's not like he's been out of the game. It's just gonna take him some time to adjust to the Eagles playbook, verbiage, and everything that the team got going on. But I could see him almost stepping in and making almost an immediate role as the third or fourth option.
yeah. And I kind of sat back and thought about this a little bit. When you think about Dotson, all right, you look at how many yards he averaged both years, 500, low 500s.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Eagles are trying. I feel like Jalen Hurts is mastering the blitz and how to avoid the blitz because that's what teams are going to be giving them, the blitz, until they know how to stop it. Until Jalen Hurts and the Eagles can stop the blitz, that's what teams are going to be giving him. But I feel like with Dotson now, like you had Johnny Wilson, you had Smith, you had Covey. Like I truly feel like Dotson is the best third option because who was Jalen's third option back
Yeah,
then
last year was give or
last
take.
year? Who
You
was
had
it?
Covey, you had Quez in there, Julio in there. You had
Shout
different
out
types.
Vincent.
Yeah, what's up, Vincent? What's going on? You had different type of people in there, but Dotson, he fits the role for a wide receiver three. He definitely fits the role. He put up these numbers with inconsistent quarterback play too, in and out guy. Which guys here, which guys there. Coaching carousel over there in Washington had going on. So if he could give us 500 yards and four, three, four, five, even seven, up to seven touchdowns, that would be great.
Yeah, we I don't think we're asking him to do very
We don't need
much.
him to have a stack. We don't
Yeah,
need him to go up crazy. We just need him to play his part, be there. I mean, the Eagles always need that extra guy on a wide receiver, and we cannot never hit on a wide receiver three. You don't need a burner. You don't need somebody A1 superstar. You just need somebody who's gonna catch the ball, get some yards after the catch, and be active. Because Quez had a lot of opportunities, even dating back to 2022. He dropped passes. We will never forget when he dropped the pass versus Washington, or when he
I,
fumbled. After he caught it and fumbled and there just many moments Quez could have changed the outcome for the Eagles, especially even in the Super Bowl.
my question to you is this: how many teams in NFL have a solid wide receiver three though?
Not
You
a
get what
lot.
I'm saying?
Not a lot. Then you
Not
got
a
a solid
lot.
reliever too, because we essentially have two ones. A lot of people would take Devontae on a team as a one. I think Devontae is a perfect two. I'm not saying he's not a one, but I think he's a 1A because AJ is a true alpha receiver. The defense demands a lot from AJ, but so do they. So do the. It's the same thing with Devontae. I just think the more people we add to the mix, the more confusion we add.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, that's why they paid AJ and that's why they paid Devontae because they know that ball's gonna get spread out. So the fact that it's gonna get spreaded out, they want to go ahead and pay them so they don't feel like they need to hit a certain amount of yards, certain amount of touchdowns to get that contract. That's why they gave him the
Of
money
course, yeah, of
already.
course, yeah,
So it now opens up that hole for people like a Dotson, Johnny Wilson. I mean, yeah, Johnny Wilson, Dallas Goddard, Saquon. It opens up those options. Let's go into these chats real quick, Jay. So I see on Richard. Have y'all heard about Nick Wright? I mean, wrong observation about the NFC East. Oh yeah,
yeah. Of course,
Nick Wright
definitely
is
saw that
always
this
wrong.
morning. Yeah,
At
yeah.
the end of the day, Nick Wright is a fantasy. He's a fantasy player. That's how he bases all of his opinions on fantasy. Like look at Dak
Yeah,
Prescott's fantasy score last year. Look at
yeah.
CD
I keep
Lamb's.
it real with you though. I keep it real with you. I watch a lot of NFL, coverage, and he is probably the most biased fan slash analyst because we all know he's a Chiefs fan, he's a Mahomes fan, and it's just like the way he praises Mahomes and the Chiefs, good through the good and through bad times, is like nobody else exists. So I don't really take much of what he has to say any serious. He does a lot of clickbait type of things. If he really thinks the Eagles will finish third, that's cool. That's his opinion. If they finish third, he's gonna look like a genius. But the way they're looking right now on paper, the way the depth is looking, the way Jalen's looking, the way Sirianni wants to get redemption, I don't see that happening, honestly.
I look at it like this. You can say the way they look on paper, but we've seen these players' production. We've seen AJ
Right.
Brown's production. We've seen Jalen's production. We've seen Dallas' production. I think the only question marks we all have is the defensive side of the ball, just because we haven't seen these type of players playing with each other. That's the biggest concern. Let's look into these comments real quick. Dennis,
Dennis got
hey
me laughing
Dennis,
over here. He got me.
riddle
I
me
just read
this.
his other comment.
Yeah. Mia
What's going
Dennis
on,
is
bro?
back. Hey, Dennis. Hey, Dennis, we'll be hollering at you soon too.
We got
We
something
wanna
for
we
you
wanna
too.
get you on. Yeah. Let's see what Vincent's saying. Johnny Wilson will be a big part of the offense. He'll be in the most running plays. Yeah, yeah, I can see that too. Now that's what we're gonna be tapping into a little bit on the 53-man roster. But Johnny Wilson, I'm liking him so far. He's putting in that work. It sucks that he got that concussion, so we couldn't really see him perform as much. But yeah, let's
I'm not too
see.
concerned. I think he's in a good position too. Once again, he's in a position how Jalen Carter was in to learn from good time big vets and at his position. So I think Johnny Wilson's in the perfect spot.
I feel like with Johnny Wilson, it's like I feel like with his height, I feel like I thought they were gonna put him at least a tight end position. That's what I was thinking.
You
Kind
know,
of like transition him over to a tight end.
and when we had this conversation, it's easy to like on paper to see 6'6", but tight end is a different position, and then the title's different responsibilities that if you never played, it's like it's a whole nother book for you. A lot of blocking, a lot of off the edge stuff. It's different for somebody to go in, but you could see that happening maybe down the line in his career. But right now, I would hope they make him a receiver. And I was trying to kind of look at him almost like a I was funny because I'm gonna compare him to a tight end, but almost like a Jimmy Graham kind of red zone presence. Remember when it was just every time they were in the red zone, they would just give the ball to Jimmy
I can
Graham. It was
see
like
that.
almost like big money situation. So I could see that. But I mean, if you really look at all the Eagles receivers, AJ's a good 50-50 catcher. Devontae's a
Yeah,
good 50-50 ball catcher. Dotson has made 50-50 catches in his career so far. And Johnny Wilson looks like he could be. So all these receivers that we have are 50-50 guys, they're pretty relatively well, at that. So I think like once again, Johnny Wilson's in a perfect spot, man. What else could you ask for to be next to two Pro Bowl type players?
yeah. I guess when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, the only concern that I'm pretty sure everybody on here has is can Jalen Hurts and can that offense stop the blitz? And can they avoid those blitz? Because I feel like if they can stop that blitz, we're gonna be a monster team.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I was saying earlier, until teams realize that blitz is not gonna work this time, that's when everybody's gonna be screwed. Because think about it. If all you look at is the Eagles and you say, "Oh, just blitz them," and then when you actually play them, they got something to solve that
Yeah,
blitz.
but Warren, you see what
What
you're
else can
saying
they
right now?
do?
That's what people did last year. They literally people were at home watching, people on the side. The Eagles couldn't stop the blitz. As the season went on towards the end, it got worse and worse. That's all coaching. That's all preparation. That's all scheming. That's what that comes down to. I mean, the Tampa Bay Bucks, if I believe it or not, blitz the Eagles over 40 or 50% of the time
They
in that
stay
game.
blitzing the
And
Eagles.
they just
Yeah.
blitzed them the whole game because they if there's no answer, you're just gonna keep running it and keep running it. People know that.
Hmm.
Anybody who's playing football, watch football, you just keep running it until they get an answer for it. Eagles had no answer for that. Um, Completely different fundamentals this year I see with them. It was two problems the Eagles had last year that really doomed them. Poor tackling, poor tackling, and the offense couldn't stop a blitz. Those two
Yeah.
things right there doomed them completely last year because
Yeah.
the poor tackling led to a lot of extra first downs, a lot of yards after the catch. It just got terrible.
Yeah. It
And
put
look,
us in
you
bad
see what Dennis just
positioning.
wrote? You see what Dennis just wrote? My worry is Cam Jurgens because he's not Kelsey. I'm not going to lie to you. As excited as I am to see this Eagles team, as excited as I am to see Jalen lead, a part of me is extra nervous because he's not on this team. And I'll tell you why right now. For the last 12 seasons that he was on the team, he was a leader, even from his young days. And his first couple, 5 or 6 years of his career, he kind of went unnoticed. He was just Jason Kelsey, Eagle center, as his career went on. So my concern is how is the offensive line? Who Lane is the vet there now. Is everybody going to rally around Lane? Lane is not the center. You understand? He's not going to
I
be
get what
calling
you're
the
saying.
shots. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So part of me is nervous to see what this line is going to look like without Kelsey. I'm not going to lie.
Let's go
And
into the chats
defensively
real
too,
quick.
without Fletcher, same shit.
Yeah. Let's go into the chats real quick. I believe Fangio's blitz scheme would camouflage our edge rushers. Yeah, it definitely can. I feel like Fangio can he can definitely camouflage. And one thing that Fangio said during the press conference that kind of like got me excited was Fangio said that the teams that he played for in the past or the teams that he coached in the past were not this type of team, like to where they're Super Bowl ready. Like the way Fangio saw a lot of the teams that he was playing for or coaching for, I don't know why I keep saying playing, but coaching for, he said they were development defenses. He said this defense is ready. All it is just putting the right pieces in the right spots right now. So that's what I'm liking that Fangio said. Next, we're gonna go to Vincent. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Let's film on Johnny. And another reason why they went to because he went to block. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
a
that
very
and,
good
and see
point,
right
Vincent.
there will prepare him for blocking and wherever they want to use him. And I do agree, less film on him is the best thing on anybody in the NFL, but specifically on a red zone guy because those are points every single time you get burned down there. So that's a good point, Vincent, for sure.
Johnny, yeah, we read that one with the he's gonna be like Julio. I can
Julio
definitely
got
see him
plenty of
like Julio.
opportunities last year. How many opportunities did Julio? Julio definitely had his opportunities last year.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what I'm trying to
Julio
say.
was
The wide
balling.
receiver three, whoever's the wide receiver three is gonna get their looks.
Yeah, let's see what Richard said. Hopefully, more will help make adjustments for the blitz.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gotta get that
and
ball
you
out
got to
quick,
think
man.
about it like this: with Fangio, I'm pretty sure they're giving Jalen different type of blitz schemes. And I know me and Vincent were kind of talking a while back, and what Vincent was saying was right now they letting practice go to the public right now. So once they shut all that down, that's when they can get into the nitty gritty of what they're trying to do. They
Very good point.
why have a public practice so everybody sees what you're doing? Like that's just plain silly. So now that you got your 50-man roster, cut it down. Now that you cut it down, you hit those points that you want to make. Um, and then Vincent, like I just said, listen to Slay. He said Jalen is to see the field better. Is to see the field better. You feel like he needs to see the field better. I feel like that's what you meant. I think Jalen. I think that's a good point, and I think Jalen's working on what he's trying to master. I think with what he's trying to do, he's not just sitting there and just saying, "Well, it's not just me; it's the offensive coordinator." He's going, and the humility that he's possessing right now is what's making him very vulnerable to where people like is showing his leadership. I think that's something that Jalen is showing now that's opened him up to the team. They said that was an issue last year. Let's see. ARS bench. After these rupture cuts, I actually I actually feel better about where this team is headed. Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
good
No,
point.
I agree with you.
That's that. I'm happy with this. He said,
Yeah,
glad they kept Covey on too. He deserves it. Been waiting his turn. He balled out preseason. We said that last week. Covey is he's like he put in his time and his effort, and it's all paying off for Covey. It's like, he's never been that flashy guy. I just feel like you got to keep a guy like him around on
he's
the
a
team.
worker.
He's a worker. He's twitchy. You need a guy like that. A guy who could just slip in through the back door. Nobody's gonna really notice because he's worrying about everything else. And he puts in work. Great special teams player. I'm glad they kept him too.
The thing about Covey is, I guarantee you, I'm not gonna say this year, maybe not next year, but there's gonna be a point where we're gonna need Covey to show off,
Yeah,
and we're gonna
yeah,
need
I
him
can
to
see that.
score for us, and he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. It's gonna come a point where he's gonna do it. Let's see what Vincent said. Jalen did Julio dirty last year. He was only going to Brown and Smitty and see the entire field this year. See the blitz and practice. He's going with his reads and not forcing. Yeah, yeah, that's what we're wanting from him, and that helps answer a lot of the issues that was going on last year, Vincent. Like it was only either Brown or Smitty, and then we got Dallas Goddard. He got hurt for a little bit, so he just went to Mr. Reliables, and we can't have that. I believe Bradbury will fill
Jalen
out the
did leave
spot.
plays on the field. If you watch Top Billing,
Oh
he's a
yeah,
great trainer. Jalen left a lot of plays on the field. He made a
oh
lot of
yeah.
plays, but
Even
he left
Jalen
some.
said it. Even
He left
Jalen
some.
said it. I really appreciate you don't card shark.
Yo, Dennis, just
That's what's
text me,
up.
man.
So let's
Yo,
let's go ahead
you
and
always
go
count
into
on
the.
Dennis to laugh.
Oh yeah, Dennis. Hey, Dennis keeps the entertainment
Yeah, shout
coming.
out to Dennis. Check out Dennis too, Countrywide Eagles. He's working with 302 Birds now. This is the season where everybody's gonna collide. We're all gonna link up. There's a lot of things gonna go on this season. A lot of things.
Yeah, and I will say if you're ever at a Phillies game, Philly Eagles game, and you want to get there, you want to tailgate, Dennis is your person that you need to go to.
Yeah.
He's gonna make sure you have a good time. You're gonna get fed. You're just gonna feel good before the game. It's like a pregame before the game. You partying, having a good time. Dennis is your person you go to. I guarantee it.
Oh,
So
Dennis, I'm gonna catch you, man. I'm off every single Sunday this year. First time in 7 years, man. I've always worked, got a family, got 2 kids. I gotta do what I gotta do, but weekends off now. I'm fully engaged all season, man. I'm locked in.
let's go ahead and get into this 53-man roster. We're start off with the QB. Of course, we all know the starting quarterback is going to be Jalen Hurts. They got Kenny Pickett and they got Tanner McKee. We kind of knew this was going to be this was going to happen, so we kind of expected that. Running backs, we got Kenny Gainwell, Saquon, Will Shipley. I personally like this. Um,
Definitely, Will Shipley. I'm calling him the Eagles' secret weapon, man. That's my name for him at the moment. Good luck with him.
Yeah. And my thing with Will Shipley, I didn't know that much about him at Clemson. I watched some highlights. I was like, all right, he was pretty good, but the NFL is a lot different. The way I saw him play, the heart that he had, he's like he plays with heart, and I like that. I can see why the Eagles picked him up. He's not going to be somebody that just he's not flashy. He
He's
wants to
part of it.
play
He's part of it. That's why they
hard-nosed
got rid of
football.
Boston Scott because look, Boston Scott was supposed to be that Sproles kind of a guy because Sproles was extremely productive. Sproles had some of his best seasons with Philadelphia, regardless of what
Yeah.
he did in San Diego and New Orleans. That's what the Eagles need. They need that guy because Kenny G is a little bit, on the bigger side for our back, as far as height wise. But I just think that Shipley is going to be the change of pace and the Eagles' secret weapon for sure, for sure.
Yeah. And then let's go to the wide receivers and tight ends. Got Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Brenton Covey, Jahan Dotson, and Johnny Wilson. I like this. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I
I think.
defend the go 5 receivers is good to me. Some people's like,
Do
why
you
didn't they go
think
with
this is the
6?
biggest wide receiver threat in the last 5 years?
Oh yeah, this is definitely the most depth I've seen them in what the Eagles. We went from Deshaun and the Macklin era, then we kind of had nobody. Remember for a while, then we called Alshon, got the Super Bowl. Then we got AJ, Devontae. So wide receiver position been up and down, mountains, climbing. But this is probably one of the deepest groups I've seen as an Eagles fan in my 21 seasons of being an Eagles fan. For sure, one of the deep. And I only say that because there's proven players and a mixture of young talent.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really like this wide receiver team better than last year. Honestly, the wide receiver team is really better than that Super Bowl year
Oh
in
yeah,
22.
I agree
So
too. We
and
would
then
just
you
pace
for
things
tight
out together.
ends, yeah, then you got tight ends, you got Grant Cloud-Katera, then you got Dallas Goddard. We kind of expect that. I truly feel like I would like maybe another tight end just in case of Dallas Goddard's injuries, just because he has been injury prone. Next, we got the O line and D line. But before we tap into the O line and D line, I just want to read some of these comments. So y'all need to go to the link and come visit me. Hey, that's the plan. Hopefully, you'll be at the Jags game for the Kelly Green game when they put LaShawn McCoy in the Hall of Fame. I'll definitely be there, Dennis. Let's get it.
No, bro. I got my son, my daughter. No more kids for me. Shout
Yeah,
to
thanks for
ARS
the.
bench, man. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, like I said, anybody's more than welcome. Come on, let's talk birds. Like, let's just. The season starts next week. Like, we should be dive deep into this.
10 days, bro. Like now we up
Yeah,
to part. I'm starting counting down days. I keep walking around my house telling everybody, get ready, because I'm unavailable when the Eagles play. I'm zoned in.
exactly. Dennis, they need to get rid of Humpty Dumpty, Maddox, and Blankenship.
And
Can't start for now. Just hope. Okay, so with Maddox, I think what saved Maddox was that interception he got with
yeah,
the
yeah,
Patriots.
and his
That
and his camaraderie with the team and his history of making key plays because he has made key plays at moments.
I'm personally fine with Maddox being on the roster because he's not a person we're relying on right now.
Exactly, Warren.
That's
One
all
hundred
it
percent.
is. The fact that we're not relying on him, it's fine that he's on the team. Like
You
it's
took
not.
the words out of my mouth, Warren. I swear I was gonna say that. The fact we don't gotta rely on him and he's on depth piece now is perfect for us.
Let's see, maybe best we've had. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Richard. I think that's what you're mentioning about the wide receivers. I feel like this is the best wide receiver group we've had in a long
Yeah,
time.
group is deep.
So, so anybody that's going to be going to any of the Eagles games, Dennis is letting us know he's going to be at the Falcons, the Jags, and the Commanders game. So, if you ever want to tailgate, hit up Dennis. He's on Facebook. He's also with the 302 podcast. He's there. He's ready. He's going to show y'all a good time, good hospitality. Um, let's see. Make key plays in the bench injury. Hey,
Hey,
I
listen,
think,
man.
but you gotta look at this though. With Blanken, as
Can
much
you?
as you don't like Blankenship, Dennis, you gotta look at it like this. His intelligence is maybe his intelligence is far beyond his athleticism. But you
I
gotta
think
look
so
at
too.
this. He's sitting in that classroom with the people that have the athleticism. So maybe he can tap into something that's gonna help Quinyon Mitchell. That's gonna help CJGJ. That's gonna help Cooper DeJean. Sometimes you just need a player to just be in that room to just like put
I
the
will say one thing, Warren.
yeah. What's up?
Dennis is right about Blankenship as far as but like certain parts because his problem really was not wrapping up when he tackled. He gave up a lot of plays. If he
But we
worked
can't
on
say
that,
that because nobody tackled though. That's
no,
the thing.
nobody did. But
Nobody
him
was tackling.
specifically, yeah, you're right, one. But him, he had those moments. But I think his football IQ is very high. I think he takes decent angles. I think he's pretty much around the ball. He's a good swarmer. I think he should be on the field, in my honest opinion.
I feel like down the line he'll be a solid defensive coach.
Yeah, I could see him like
Down
that.
the
He,
line.
he reminds me of almost like a not as intensified, but almost Harrison Smith from the
Like a
Vikings, almost like
defensive
that.
Kellen Moore. No, I'm playing. Um,
Defensive killer.
but no,
I
like
wonder, Dennis, you don't like any Eagle safety. Do you like besides Brown? Do you like Gardner Johnson? Because I'm happy to have him back, man. I'm hyped.
yeah,
Like,
you
the Eagles need some type of swag in the secondary, and he's gonna bring it.
ARS bench. Sundays are for the Birds.
Oh,
But
facts.
it's gonna be but the next week is gonna be Friday.
Friday, yeah,
Friday.
Friday. I ain't gonna lie
Friday's
to you,
gonna
bro.
be
It's
for
like
the
I don't
Birds.
even know where I want to watch the game Friday. What I'm gonna do is like all I know is that that's what I'm gonna be thinking
I feel
about
like that
come Friday
first
night.
game, and anybody watching right now, let us know in the comments. Are y'all going out for the first game, or are y'all chilling at the house watching it to kind of like I? That's why I'm glad the Packers is our first game because it's going to kind of solidify where we're going to stand
Yeah, because we're
as a
not playing
team. The
scrubs. We're
first
not playing
10
scrubs.
games,
We got a
the
decent team.
first 10
Jordan Love is
games,
not a
yeah.
bum. We're playing a good team. They got hitters on their team. They've no, they're not bums. So I'm
I
happy
do
we're
think
playing.
Jordan Love is overhyped. I will say that. I do feel
I
like
don't
he's a
think
little
he's
overhyped.
overhyped. I just think that they're moving too fast on him, if that makes sense. Like, so maybe overhype is a word, but they're moving. I think he's gonna have a good career. I just, but he beat Dallas last year in the playoffs, man, and that was good to watch. He was dicing
Okay,
them
did
boys.
he beat Dallas or did the defense beat Dallas?
I would say the defense probably beat Dallas's offense, obviously, because Dallas's offense was flying. Remember, 40 points,
I
but
think at the end of the day, that game snuck under Dallas
yeah,
because they
they
were
slept on
expecting to
him.
just win. Yeah, they
They
slept
slept
on
on
him.
him. They thought that the young boy was gonna come in and fold in the dome, and he did not. He did not. AT&T Stadium lights is bright on him, and he was just dicing. But you're right. The more credits to the Packers defense in that game than anything because they did just completely halt the Cowboys offense when they were rolling.
Let's see, Jeremiah Trotter, Cooper DeJean. Hey, those are some solid jerseys. All intelligence is leading us. All right, Dennis. So check this out. If Reed Blankenship is this bad, why is he still on the team?
And he got
Riddle
a
me
one
this.
year deal. That's the
Riddle me
only
this,
thing. He got a
Batman.
1 year deal.
Riddle me this, Batman. Why is he still on the team? What are you not seeing that the Eagles are seeing? Or what are you seeing that the Eagles
The
aren't
Eagles are
seeing?
not seeing, yeah. Because
Yeah,
I
what
mean,
what is
most
it?
fans technically like Blankenship. I mean, if you don't
I
like
think
Blankenship,
I
write it in
think
the
he's
comments.
fine. I personally, if I was to be
He ain't
100%
perfect.
honest with you, I think Cooper DeJean is there to replace Blankenship. That's my honest opinion. I feel like he's there to replace Blankenship. That's why I think Blankenship is good for right now. But moving forward, no. I think he's a good trade.
Yo, I mean, this guy's going crazy, Dennis. Yo, Dennis, we
Yeah.
do not hate you, bro.
So Vincent, when Brown comes back, it's really gonna open up the secondary. Maddox. Yeah,
Woo, big
yeah,
facts.
yeah.
Big facts. Because, you
So
were looking at
Vincent,
the Eagles secondary, but
yeah.
Brown's missing.
Vincent, ask me this though, because Vincent, I know you watch a lot of film. Um, do you think that Do you think there's going to be a lot of rotation going on with the secondary, with the amount of people they have in that secondary? Do you feel like they're going to rotate a lot of players, or do you feel like they're going to just stay consistent with what they have right now? Um, Dennis, but he Sidney Brown definitely hits. I think the way Sidney Brown was performing last year, I think that's a little bit of what Nolan Smith is giving us. Just a little bit
Yeah.
too excitement, not enough calm.
Slow down.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. ARS bench, you know what I mean? Yeah. No, we got you. We got you.
He's talking
Hey,
about the
ARS, like I
Friday.
said. Yeah,
Shout
like
to
I said,
ARS
let us
again. We appreciate you.
yeah, man. Hey, we appreciate you. We're gonna be on every Tuesday moving forward. We'll love to have you on the show if you're ever
Yeah.
interested. We appreciate you watching us. Let's see. Not yet. The first game. Okay, okay, okay. The the
That's true.
defense
That's
ain't
true.
yeah, I
This
feel
is
like that.
football. This ain't basketball where you just put five people on the court and just let them, play ball. It's a lot of things have to fall into place for a football team to get to a high level. Not playing good and playing at a high level is not the same thing. So I 100% agree with that comment. It's not gonna just happen right away. And another thing,
No, yeah.
a lot of players that the Eagles are taking their first snaps in Brazil. And this is their first snap, meaningful snap. So everybody's gonna have some type of jitters to a degree.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. So let's see. He's going to put out the best. Yeah, I feel like he's going to put out the best players. How do you feel about Slay? What's your thoughts on Slay with Cooper DeJean, with Mitchell, with all these other cornerbacks we got? Where's your thoughts on Slay right now?
My thoughts on Slay is, his better days are behind him. He has no problem coaching up the young boys. He actually is enthusiastic about it. He takes pride in actually taking. So to me, that's a good thing. You want players like that in the building. My concern is where's Bradbury's head at? Is he just holding up a roster spot? Because Bradbury, he's had his bad moments, obviously, with the Eagles. Dating back from the Super Bowl Phantom hold or whatever. And then he had a terrible season last year. But once upon a time, he was a great player. So that knowledge is still there. That football IQ is still there. He could pass it on to these young guys. I just think the Eagles locker room is a balance of good players, former all pros. You got Pro Bowl players in there. You got players and rookies. You got a good battle. You got players that won. Still got some players from the 2022 Super Bowl team here that, got to those big moments together. So I think they're in a good position as far as overall roster.
Yeah. So let's look at the linebackers right now because that's been everybody's biggest concern. Nolan
Yeah.
Smith, N'Kobe Dean, Josh Sweat, Devin White, Patrick Johnson, Zach Bond, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., Ben Van Sumeren, and Jalix Hunt. I think right now, when it comes to this linebacker team, we have a lot of potential. We have a
Yeah.
lot of potential. Nolan Smith has potential. N'Kobe Dean has potential. Josh Sweat, just need to get him back to 2022 Josh Sweat. Devin White, let's get him back to where he was Super Bowl year. Patrick Johnson, don't know too much about him. Zach Bond, let's see if he's that. Let's see why Fangio wanted him. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I personally think that he can be an elite linebacker um, after this year, unless he comes and just shows out. And Jalix Hunt, he's a development project. Let me take that back. I feel like Jeremiah Trotter and Jalix Hunt are kind of developments right now,
Yeah, but you know what, Warren?
getting
Real
them where
quick,
they need to be.
Van Summeren. I know I'm not probably pronouncing it right, but he was our highest graded preseason player by PFF. I believe he graded out 88.9. He made a lot of plays behind the door. So, if our depth players are playing well and our starters are already playing well, the room is looking healthy. But Jalix Hunt is looking like the X factor and the guy you want to keep your eye on to like break out of that whole linebacker group.
Yeah, yeah. It's this linebacker group. I think is better than what we thought it would be when we first heard these names. Um, let's see. Let's see what Vincent says. Slay, I'm hoping play high level, continue to be the player coach on the field,
Yeah,
and he prepares
100%. That's
Mitchell.
his
Yeah,
job. His job is to play and also be a coach on the field, coach these young guys up because you know what? Mitchell is the future. He's going to be the CB1 the day you walk out the door. So Slay has a job in it. And I think, Slay's been open about teaching these young guys. He actually embraces it. You don't get that a lot from these players.
yeah. Richard says, be expected late snaps in the first half because the starting unit hasn't played. That's true. That's true. And
Yeah,
then
it's
Nolan Smith
everything, and
needs.
it's gonna be loud in there. I'm pretty sure it might be loud. I don't know how that stadium is. It's a soccer stadium, but whatever.
I think Nolan Smith needs time, and I think Nolan Smith also just needs reps. I feel like he's one of those people that plays, and their energy is just crazy on the field. Their energy is on the field, like they want to leave everything they got on the field,
On
but
every
they just
single
don't
play.
know. Yeah, they just don't know how to like. They don't know how to hold it in. They don't know when's the right time to use it. So he's 100 every time.
He's a high intensity player. It is, I believe he needs time, but the same thing like N'Kobe Dean, like the time is
That's the same
now.
thing with Sidney
I give,
Brown too.
yeah, they time is only gonna pass. Injuries, have occurred on all three of these guys. The time is now. Nolan Smith, you got to step up now because they invested a high pick in you. You have to step up now.
That's true. So let's
I
look
like how they
at
just put
let's
Slay. They didn't put Darius because you know how he hates his first name.
yeah.
They just put
So
Slay
let's
on
see
there.
for DBs. We got Slay, CJ, Ringo, Eli Ricks. Everybody thought Ricks was not going to be on the team. James Bradbury. I know that's going to upset a lot of people. Devontae Maddox, Quinyon Mitchell, Reed Blankenship, Cooper DeJean, Isaiah Rogers, and Tristan.
Isaiah
Okay,
Rogers
okay.
is my Eagles' defensive secret weapon this year. He is going to be the guy who I'm telling you right now. He's going to be the guy in the secondary to make a lot of plays this year. I have a feeling Isaiah Rogers, prior to the gambling scandal that season, he was graded high by PFF. He was balling out on his way to being one of the better corners. It just takes a year for you to be out of the game for people to completely forget your name. It just takes 1 year. That's all it takes. I feel like people are going to forget what he could do.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for it. Let's just. I want to see, but at the same time, I want him to be successful. Just know he only has a 1 year deal with us,
Yeah, he does.
so
I
he's
could
not
see him
planning on
balling out
staying.
and catching a deal elsewhere, but let's make the most of it. Same thing with Jahan Dotson. What if Jahan Dotson as a wide receiver 3 catches 700-800 yards? You don't think
I feel
somebody
you.
gonna throw him a bag? Is that the bag is getting thrown at him?
Hey Jay, we gotta give this person a shout out. It's been a minute.
Oh, my guy Cool is in the building. What up,
Cool.
Cool?
How you been, man? How you been? How you been? I've been watching the show too on YouTube. Y'all boys putting in work. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, cool. We gotta bring
Um,
you up here. You gotta bring us up there, man. We gotta start up, man. Let's be consistent this year.
I see some pics from Roger. I can
Oh
see them
yeah,
too.
me
I
too.
can definitely see them. We got a lot
Me too.
coming. So let's see. And then we just got the special teams, y'all. So let's look at the special teams we got here. Um,
Jake the
Jake
Make,
Elliott, Brandon Mann, and Rick
Jake the Great.
Lovato. Yeah,
Yeah, Rick Lovato, the punter. Same name. Nobody changed it. All
nobody's
reliable
changing.
guys.
But yeah, let's talk about this real quick. And this is kind of we gonna leave about 10, 10, 15 minutes. Just let's just talk about all this that we just looked at right now. Was good, fellas. I see some picks from Rogers this season. I can see them too. Also, we got Dotson still on that rookie
That's
deal.
exactly
Yeah,
why he's gonna ball out
that's
because he knows he's probably not gonna cash out with Philly, but there's 31 other teams and this is a business. And at the end of the day, if you're still on that rookie deal, you still haven't caught the bag yet.
because right now what Philly runs on is low risk, high reward, and a lot of prove yourself deals. Yes, you're not gonna. Maybe we won't be able to give you a contract here, but if you take off and you show your production, a team that has the money will pick you up,
Plenty of players have
and
done
that's
it.
that's what they're selling them on. Yeah,
Look, it's
let's
happened with
see.
a few players, man. If they look at I'll give you an example. What's his name that left for the 49ers? What was his name? The tackle, defensive tackle. How did I just forget his name? Oh, Javon Hargrave. You see, he
Oh yeah,
showed his.
Hargrave,
You got
man.
players. They played well. They ended up getting a bigger deal when they leave Philly because Philly will give you opportunity to showcase yourself on a good team. You could go somewhere else. It doesn't always work out like that because there's been players. I remember when Patrick Robinson, after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, he signed 4 years with New Orleans, and he was nothing after that. He was out the league.
They felt that
So
about Hargrave because they were
they couldn't
they
afford
knew that
Hargrave.
yeah they knew they needed a D tackle they knew they needed a D tackle, and I think they were
And
banking
Jalen
on
solved
Milton
that.
Williams.
Yeah, Jalen Carter
And you have
solved that.
Fletcher Cox there. Yeah, so I think Milton Williams is going to be a monster this year. I think Milton Williams is going to get slept on a lot, kind of just like that Javon Hargrave role, because I think
Mhm.
Milton Williams is still running on his this is his last year of his contract.
Yeah.
So we're going to see how he performs. What's cool saying? We got Dotson for 2 years because of fifth year option. Great pickup from Allen and Pre.
Yeah, through
Hey,
2027, they can
always,
have him through
man.
up to, yeah. Appreciate you too, cool. Yeah, not the way. I mean, Howie's a genius, man. I'll tell you what, as an Eagles fan, it's almost like your real team that you watch, like we all Eagles fans, are playing fantasy football in real life. Like they actually go out when you see like the Eagles should maybe go get them. They actually do go and get a guy. They actually do go and make a trade. They don't sleep. They got to be the most active team in the NFL on a year-to-year basis. I don't see any team that makes moves like Philadelphia. Any team.
You got to look at it like this too. The Eagles aren't just going to let somebody go. They're not just going to let a great
Mhm.
player go like that. Kelsey retired. Cox retired. Um, what's his name? Hassan Reddick. We all know what happened with Hassan Reddick. That was something we didn't even know about, But
Yeah, but that's
Hassan Reddick,
fans. But they let me tell you something. If Hassan Reddick was everything the Eagles wanted, they wouldn't let him walk out the door.
if he was
They
everything, I think it was a personality thing. Their
I
personalities
think
clash.
when we had that whole thing last year where they said the size having a riff, I know Hassan Reddick was right in the middle of that. For sure, he had to be in the middle of that.
They
And
wanted him to drop back.
yeah, his exactly his personality was not fitting in, and how we probably saw that, and we're just like, we don't need this guy. Because I promise you what, he left the Eagles to sign a new deal with the Jets. The Jets never promised him a deal. Now, I'm not saying he's not worth 20 plus million, but you already have cashed out two NFL contracts. Some players never make that second contract. He's looking for a third. He's still playing at a high level. Are you a top 10 pass rusher in the NFL? I don't think so. I put top 15, top 20, yeah, but are you top 10? I don't think so. Maybe you
So,
are.
do you feel like Reddick is lowering his value right now
Oh, he
with
definitely
what
is
he's doing?
100%, 100% because he's playing a money game now and he's losing. The whole point of this is for him to gain financial, have financial gain, and he's actually having financial loss because of where he wants to play. The Eagles traded you out the building. You got traded to another team. Cool. They want you to perform. They want you to play. The Jets would pay him if he played, but the Jets would pay him 25, 30, whatever you want the
I
next
don't
year.
think the Jets will pay him. That's my honest
If
opinion.
I think
I
if he
think the
played
Jets had the
well,
thoughts that they could lower. I think the Jets thought that they could possibly lower his
his
contract
salary
deal.
demands, yeah, and
Yeah,
that's true.
they thought that they
But
could
Warren,
lower it. That's why they brought him on.
he's on paper to play 13.8. Has he outplayed his contract? Yeah, he's outplayed his contract. He's a 20.
Yeah.
He was the closer for us. He would show up to me first three quarters. You don't see him. Fourth quarter, he's catching a sack or back to back or doing some crazy stuff. But I don't think he should be up there with the top defensive ends paid. I just don't think he should be up there. At least not even in the top five. I don't see it happening, Reddick. Your career is on the latter end,
And his
and
age,
I,
yeah.
and your age, and it's like you left the Eagles to play for a higher number. The number didn't appear, and now you're not going to play at all. So who really loses here? You.
Because
And
they're
the
paying
Eagles
those
won
fines
because
too.
the trade, the Eagles saying the Jets fleeced. Do you remember people were, I got to go back. I'm going to actually make a reel or something about this. Jets fans were saying we got fleeced for giving Reddick up. We got fleeced. Who got fleeced now? Because the Eagles didn't
Yeah.
get fleeced. They pushed him right out the door.
No, you're right. Let's see. Tony, we appreciate you.
Shout out to Tony Mara.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. But yeah, I kind of feel that way too. Um, it would be crazy. This would be crazy if around week 5, week 6, Hassan Reddick kind of humbles himself and says, "Hey, I'm willing to come back for a less deal." Because at the end of the day, all Hassan Reddick doing right now is paying fines. That's all
Oh,
he's
he's paying
doing.
fines. And a lot of Eagle fans have insinuated that, like, let's get the reunion going because the Jets may end up cutting him, taking the dead cap, and then he's on the waivers. But I don't know where
But
his mind is at.
what does that do to our other edge rushers though?
Yeah, I don't see him fitting in any scenario ever back in Philadelphia because he
Or
left.
maybe Hassan
He
Reddick is
bailed
playing
on
that
us
role
when we're
to where
trying to
y'all will
build.
need me in the middle of the season.
I don't know. He at this moment right now, as we're speaking, he's a New York Jet, right? So if anything
Yeah,
of him coming back, like, because I've seen a many Eagle fans and conflicted, like, yo, let the Jets cut him, let's bring him back, or let's do some. But you know what? I'm completely content with him out the building because I have a feeling, because Howie did it with
he might have
Jalen
been
Hurts and
the
Carson
issue.
Wentz. He drafted Jalen, and we're all like, yo, what are you doing? We just finished a quarterback controversy with Nick Foles. Like, you're gonna start another one? Like, that's what I thought, and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't pissed, but I kept thinking to myself, there's a reason why he drafted Jalen. What it was? He was seeing Carson's mental declining, Carson's confidence not there. And how he has to look at himself, you know what? I paid the wrong guy. And
And Doug
maybe
Peterson's the one that wanted Jalen Hurts.
he
Doug
did. He also
Peterson's the one that picked him up.
and I
So,
love Carson too. I've nothing against Carson Wentz, but after the injury, he's never been the same. He's never been the same. He never
well,
was
you
the
got to
same
think
after the
about it.
injury.
Think about his situation though. Like
Of course. And
you
then
took a team
mentally,
all the way up to the playoffs, and
it
then they
was
got a
never gonna
statue of
work.
him outside.
It
Yeah,
was never
that's
gonna work. And it's like how we saw all of that before us fans could see it. And the same thing I feel with Reddick. He saw an explosion, an implosion coming in that we can't see, blowing up from the inside out, and he didn't let it happen. He said, I'm going to get this guy out the door early, grant him his wish, let him get traded, and because at the end of the day, Hassan Reddick, we couldn't make a argument. He was our best defensive player last.
Yeah, but you gotta
We
look
could
at
make
it
an
like this
argument.
too. Do you feel like Bryce Huff can substitute that?
I'll tell you why I think so now too. Bryce Huff is a little undersized compared to other edge rushers, but Bryce Huff, once again, 10.5 sacks with the Jets, career season. He is he bends like Hassan. He gets under the pads of the offensive line. I don't think he's gonna have the exact numbers as Hassan, but I think it's gonna be very comparable, if not succeed them. I think he's a perfect fit for the Eagles.
I think Bryce Huff is gonna surprise a lot of people.
Yeah,
That's my
and I'm
personal
telling you, I
opinion.
watched him.
Yeah.
My son is a Jets fan. I live in North Jersey. I live all around Jets people. I've watched that kid. I met him actually. Met Huff. I got it. I met him. Huff is a good player, and I just think that people now he's gonna surprise Eagle fans because when the Eagles signed him, fans were like, "Who is this guy? What is this guy? He's undrafted. He never." But let me tell you something. I've watched him play. He has a motor. He sacked Jalen twice when the Eagles played in Week 15 in
Hmm.
that game. I remember that. Oh, sorry, that was Week
Yeah.
11.
Yeah. I think Bryce Huff is gonna have a good year. I personally think Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. I think our defensive line is gonna have a better year than what a lot of people think. Um, I think just because at the end of the day they have a really good defensive coach. And I don't think Clinton Hurd is just going to let them just skate by the way they did. That's kind of where I'm at with when people talk about the decline that they had last year. They
Yeah.
they they won. They lost 6 of their last 7 games. Okay, when they went through that
Terrible.
spell, look at who their position coaches were during those times. They didn't have a Clint Hurd. They didn't have the DB coach that they have now.
You're
They
right.
had they had backup coaches to help. Just I feel like those coaches last year they were just there
Well,
at
they
the end of
promoted
the
a
day.
lot of guys from within and just bumped them up instead of bringing fresh
Yeah, that's
ideas,
all. That's all that was.
bringing fresh
So
minds
now
in.
you got the right coaches
Yeah.
to fix those issues. Hey, Jordan Davis, you slacking right now. Jalen Carter, you were good last 10 games. Now you sleep. Where's that intensity? Where's all that energy from? I don't think they got that last year. When you don't get that, these players are not going to play their best ball. And then even Sidney Brown said last year that practice was not like practice was in college for him. So now they're
Yeah, that
more
was an
conditioned.
insult
Their
too. Yeah,
practices are harder. Yeah.
but you
Even
know what, Warren?
Hargrave even said that.
Last season, as good. Okay, we came up to Super Bowl loss, right? Then we go into 2020. Then we win all those games to start. But you remember how we won all those games? Like we barely won, and or
Barely.
something
Yeah.
had. So like last season, it was like an engine. I compare this to engine. Everybody knows me. I'm a car person. When an engine's timing is off, no matter what you do to the engine, no matter if the timing is off, the engine is not going to run smoothly or run at all. So you understand? It's like the Eagles' timing was just off last year from the beginning. Wins or not, everything was not pretty. They were winning ugly. There was no statement wins at all last year. Everything was just like getting by week to week. So this year, I hope to see some consistency, and I hope to see them actually winning games without relying on things to happen and miracles or just anything of that nature.
Most definitely. Yeah. Jay, good show. Before we get up
Facts.
out of here, is there anything you want to let everybody know? We will be giving away the AJ Brown by the by at least I would say, Jay, what would you say, baby, by the middle of week 1 that giveaway will be over and
Yeah,
we'll be having
yeah. I
another
want to say, or
giveaway.
at least by the home opener. Yeah, home opener. We're just trying to do a bunch of giveaways just to give back. Like I said, we got a bunch of things, and every Tuesday we're gonna be live. So we're trying to lock in Tuesdays. Tuesday evenings. That's the best day that works for me and Warren. So that's the day we're trying to do it. I'm gonna be in Philly a lot this season. I'm trying to link up with a lot of people. I'm trying to go to more anything that's Eagles related. For example, if anybody's in North Jersey and Piscataway on Thursday at Wingstop, Malcolm Jenkins is going to be there signing autographs from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. That's Piscataway, New Jersey, Wingstop. It's a brand new location. I believe he's financially invested in it, and he's from North Jersey, so he'll be there. I'm gonna try to, I'm not trying. I'm gonna make it. I've already set everything up. The only way I won't make it is if I can't, but I should be there. We're just trying to have a fun season, trying to interact with all my birds. Like we said, we're not only a podcast, we're trying to be a fan community and the Eagles collective as a whole.
Most definitely, most definitely. Yeah. And hey, Richard, we got you. We got you. Don't worry.
Got you, Richard. Yeah, shout to Richard, man. Fully engaged.
Hey, there's gonna be more too to come, Richard. Don't just think that's it. We're gonna have a lot more prizes for y'all too.
Yeah.
But
We got
yeah,
some
but
gifts too, not only giveaways,
yeah,
man. We're trying to
exactly.
go in this year. We got some gifts, so let's not spoil everything, Warren.
Exactly, exactly. Hey, we
For our
appreciate
loyal
y'all liking the
listeners.
shorts. We appreciate y'all subscribing. Um, hey, this is what me and Jay like to do. We like to talk birds. We like to talk about the game. We like to talk about all aspects of the game. We appreciate y'all watching and joining us. We're the Eagles Collective. We'll talk to y'all next week.
Oh, birds.